Well, here we go today making a step-by-step tutorial on how to make a Hypertufa pot. This will show you how to mix everything together. I started the 1 gallon of each. Now you can do 1 gallon of cement and then 1.5 of each of the other ingredients. Don't start with 1 gallon of the water because you don't really know how much water you need, but mix it all together, and then you can have some forms all set aside for what you'd like to make. But this is what it should turn out, kind of a fudgy, oatmeal-y like texture that you might be able to squeeze a little water out of, but then it'll be ready to put into your molds. Today I'm mixing some Hypertufa for the first time this year, and I have got my dry ingredients all blended, and it is sitting for the 10 minutes after I put all the moisture in. You can see how it's just kind of swelling to take in all the moisture into the peat moss, the cement, the Portland cement, and the vermiculite is what I used for this one. Now I have reserved my gloves. I put a little bit of buff coloring in this one. I have a mold ready. This is going to be a basket. I'm going to try and get that basket weave pattern into the side. So I've cut a piece of plastic to line it with. And you can see I've got it stuffed down in because I do on the inside. I did the same thing for a piece of plastic for another mold I have. I just lay the mold down and cut a piece of plastic kind of around it, as you can see, so that I know once I stuff it inside, it's going to definitely pull in and then cover the top to be stuffed down into a garbage bag later. I am planning to hope to have enough to do the 2 ice cream dishes, but we'll see how far that amount stretches. So I am all ready. I have 4 baskets, baskets and containers lined with my plastic, so I'm all ready to get started. I am estimating that the amount I have will do all 4. If there's any leftovers, I will use my yogurt cups to make pedestal feet. I'll just stuff them full, this way, leveling off the top, and then upside down, they will be a nice pedestal. 4 of them will make a nice pedestal foot for a container. I think that's everything that I can do right now. I'm by myself, so I don't have anyone to hold the camera. I'm using a phone camera, as you probably know. So I will stop and give you a break when I've got one of them filled. Now I'm still in the middle of putting this separate 2 long oval, I call them bread basket, tufas together. This one is all ready. I've tucked all the plastic down inside. You can see that. I have my gloves off right now so I could hold the camera. So that one is all ready. This one I have not yet wrapped the plastic down in, but you can see I've got it all, hopefully as level as I can get it, and rounded out each end so that we have a nice oval. And I have used this egg turner to kind of press into the sides like this to make sure I have a nice straight side. Now you see a little water down in there where the cement Hypertufa is starting to weep. It weeps some of the moisture out of it, but I don't find any problem with that because I feel that holds in all the humidity that you need for it to cure well. So I have this much left. I should be able to do the ice cream boxes and probably some pedestals, if not some of the mashed potato boxes. I have finished all the mixture that was in my Hypertufa mixing container, which is one of those spackling boxes, whatever they use, that I picked up at Lowe's. And I have the long basket and the long metal tray, and I have 2 ice cream containers. They're all wrapped and ready. And then the excess, I thought it would fill my pedestal ring. I have a very large pedestal ring. It's probably about at least 12, 13 inches around. And I have got that filled all the way to the top. It's going to be a large pedestal for a saucer that I have outside. I made it from a fire pit, and I want to set it on the ground with its own little ring. I'll pop this out, and it'll be like a donut, flip it upside down, and the pedestal will sit in that hole. Well, be balanced by that hole. So I've got all this done. Now what I will do with these containers is put them down inside a plastic bag and seal them. And right now, because it's chilly, I can't put them outside. I'll have to take them down to the basement. But that basically is what I've done today with a mixture. This did from 1 gallon of Portland cement, 1.5 gallons of perlite, I used vermiculite today, and 1.5 gallons of the peat moss sifted. And that's what I made with that amount. So this is basically it. I'll just store them. I did do it in my garage. It's chilly today, kind of in the high 40s, but I have the garage door slit, the back door is slightly open, kerosene heater running for about an hour, so I'm good and warm. It felt really good out here. But that is the video. It took me a lot longer than these, 5-6 minutes that this has run, because I did a stop and start. Just a quick finish up. I've got all 4 of the long baskets, well, the 2 long baskets and the 2 ice cream baskets. They are down inside this plastic container, and I put it down inside a trash bag and have it tied. And then the ring that I made is inside this. It's a plastic tub, and I have tied it into a plastic bag also. They'll go down in the basement to set. This one, I'll just leave it for the next couple weeks until it's ready to come out, since it's just a pedestal. These I'll probably take out in a couple days to texturize, then put back into the plastic bag to put them back downstairs in the basement. Okay, I've pulled this out of its basket, released it from the plastic, and this is the texture I've gotten. It has a little bit of the basket weave on the bottom and on the sides, and all I'm doing is taking the brush and I've just kind of smoothed and rounded all the edges. I like them to be round in case there's a cascading succulent. I don't want it to break off on the edges. But this is the size this one is. I really like the way it looks. Okay, this is the smaller metal bread basket, bread tray. I'm just going to pull it out and unwrap. And this did, since it dried in the basement, it is taking it quite a bit longer to dry than if it was outside in the open air. But these are, very, very hard and dried. Now this is the texture that this one has coming out. You can see the variations in the color, and that's from the buff. Some mixed up better than others, but I kind of like that variation because I think it looks like real stone. And I like the lines in it that the plastic creates. That's what this one looks like. And what I'm going to do, let me dump out the excess, I'm just going to take my brush and just barely shape the edges. Okay, here's smoothing around the edges. I just want that top to have a little bit of texture. And make sure you've got all the excess pulled off. I think this one's going to be a really nice long trough for a row of hens and chicks up and down the sides. I'm still going to continue with getting the sides of it brushed off. And it brushes off real easy because this is very soft right at the present time. Now I've got the rasp tool, and this is kind of like a knife but with real gritty edges that'll scrape. So I'm going to do this all along the edges to get that sharp edge. I don't like my pots to have a sharp edge, especially when you plant like donkey tail sedum or burro's tail. You don't want it to have a sharp edge to fall over, because that'll encourage those little beans to drop off, and then you don't get to grow the long tails. And I do go for that rustic look. And this one looks pretty good, still soft enough for me to do a little cleanup here in the middle. Crumbly. I'm going to put a few gouges in the sides so it really looks like it was hewn out of stone. I'm just going to kind of put a few marks and scrapes up and down. So now when that grows moss in there, that's going to even look more natural and rustic. Okay, I'll continue on this side with a few scratches, gouges, and scrapes. It's a little hard to see. Get that sharp edge off. But I think that is going to make it look very natural. A little bit here on the end, maybe. I think that looks pretty good. I'll check the other end. Make sure I've got some nice gouges in it. Okay, and that should finish this one up. It'll have to go back into a bag to sit for maybe another week, 2 weeks, since it's in the basement. But I'm going to leave it in there. But I think that looks pretty good. I'll put it down with this one. Okay, the last one is the ice cream. I've got 2 of the ice cream, but I'll just do one for the film. And this one just pulls right out. And we'll unwrap it from its plastic. And this is the container we get. Has the same kind of striations. I think that looks a little bit like trees on the side. And then it's shallow, so this will be for some succulents that don't need to have very long roots. Some of the John Creech or Dragon's Blood sedum will be good in this color, or even the Angelina that turns so orangey looking right now. I'm just kind of gouging that out to kind of round and straighten up the edges. It crumbles like, maybe like Play-Doh that hasn't quite gotten hard yet. And for this one, I think I'm just going to trim the rough edges that kind of stick up. You can see sideways that it has just a real sharp edge that I want to get rid of. And basically, these are ready to put up, put away for another couple weeks. And when it's warmer and I can put them outside, I'll put them outside to just sit in the spring rain, maybe mist them with some vinegar and water solution to neutralize the alkalinity, and they'll be ready to go. Well, I hope this gave you some ideas on how to make your own unique Hypertufa pot. They're wonderful. They last years and years and years. And if you have any questions, then put them down below and I'll try to answer your questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video.